Hey VC, it's Eric. I'm back with another vinyl update. I'm going to talk about some cassette tapes and some compact discs as well. And we'll start with the cassette tapes. I've only picked up a few that I'm going to show, and most of them, no surprise, are going to be part of my Enigma / Restless Records collections. First of all, I picked this up today. This is called Doctors and the Medics. It was 50 cents. This is actually on IRS Records. I figured, what the hell, why not? 50 cents. I also picked this one up today. This is the Don Dixon Romeo at Juilliard, and you can see there, this is an Enigma release. Picked that up here locally. So I did go to Nashville at the beginning of the month and did quite a bit of shopping, and you'll be seeing a lot of vinyl and some compact discs I picked up at that time. One of the things I did pick up was Giant Sand on Enigma. Found this at a pretty cool record store. They had a lot of cassettes. They were hard to dig through, and this was the only one of the Enigma ones that I found. And then I was actually in Nashville to see the band The Forbidden Dimension, who I've spoken about before, and I will speak about it again. But the opening act was a band called Mumula. This is their brand new cassette. I've known these guys, or at least the lead singer, for years and years and years. He used to buy records from the record label I ran back in the 90s. And they decided that they were going to put out their album on cassette, the download code, because CDs are, not really selling these days, and because getting booked at the vinyl pressing plant is becoming increasingly difficult. So I'm going to move on to the vinyl here. So this represents not only my Nashville trip, but a lot of local shopping. And one thing from my trip to Pennsylvania in September. So Rupert Holmes, I got this locally, Rain Night in Georgia. This is the guy that did the Pina Colada song, which I like his stuff. He's got a noir bent to him. He's a big mystery guy, so I do like checking his stuff out. It's just good pop rock. Got this here in Michigan. Men Without Hats. Sweets. Desolation Boulevard. The Pretty Things Savage Eye. I've not had a chance to listen to any of these. It's been very, very busy, so I was holding off with this video recording until I got to listen to a lot more of this stuff, but I just figured I want to get it out there. This is the band The Triffids from Australia. This is their album In the Pines, which I found at a heavy metal shop here in Michigan called Rock of Ages. It's been there forever, and I got it for a good price, 10 bucks. I also found the Emmylou Harris album, Luxury Liner, $3. Couldn't pass that up. So now we're getting to the stuff that I picked up in Nashville. It was Nashville, so I was going to look for the Carlene Carter album that she did with Nick Lowe. That's kind of got a rock pile feel to it. It's a good record. Got this pretty cheaply. Got this at a record store called Phonoluxe, which I highly recommend checking out if you're in Nashville. And I'll put their address in the notes for this so that people can check it out. And that was one of the stores I went to. I went to a store called Grimey's where I got the New York Rock Ensemble, which is a 70s band that I've been looking for. This is notable for Michael Kamen, the film music scorer. This was a band that he was in. Another record I've been looking for a long time. This is Face to Face, self-titled. This is the Face to Face from Boston that was used in the film Streets of Fire. I went to this place called the 8th Street, I think it was the 8th Street antique store in Nashville, and I found the Tanya Tucker TNT record, The Gatefold. Should pull this out. Yes, I did not put these in any kind of order as far as... I didn't get far enough back to see that. Not put these in any kind of order as far as the places I got them from. So, pick up the soundtrack to Foxes, which is an early 80s teen flick with Jodie Foster and Cherry Curry of the Runaways. The Swimming Pool Cues. Not listened to this yet. They were an Atlanta band that I've heard of, and I found this for a couple bucks and figured I'd pick it up and check them out. Hoodoo Gurus. Cool Australian punky rock band from the 80s. Yeah, they're a band that is part of that whole Australia scene that we didn't get a lot of here in the States that I wanted to check out. All right, so I already have this one. This is the Jet Blackberries. This is one of my all-time favorite bands. This is one of my all-time favorite albums. This is one that if you happen to see it in the discount bin, I got this one for $5. Highly recommend picking it up. This is a 80s cowpunk, western, William S. Burroughs, psychotronic, just it's an album I love. It's hard to describe beyond that. Just go on the YouTube and look up some of the tracks from this. This particular edition came with a second limited edition one-sided 12-inch. It's on Pink Dust Records. This includes 2 tracks that were recorded for the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack but not used in the film. So that's one I love, and that's just a spare copy I picked up. This is Naked Praise, 40 Miles from Nowhere. This is on Frontier Records. This is another 80s kind of cowpunk band that I like. Worth checking out. Let's see, they do a cover Wichita Lineman on here that's worth seeking out. All right, I'd shown this one before. I got this a long time ago. This is Thin White Rope. They are a Davis, California kind of psychedelic desert rock folk country band. Highly recommended. Once again, kind of hard to describe. You just have to check them out, and they're also on Frontier Records. And I picked up their album. Another one of their albums. The one I just showed I picked up here in Michigan about a year ago. This one's Exploring the Axis. I got this one in Nashville. And then this one is their album Moonhead, which I actually picked up in Pennsylvania at a half-price books. So I think that's all 3 of their studio albums that I managed to pick up onto the compact discs. Now, I probably should wait for the vinyl on this, but I had wanted to pick up the Drive-By Truckers' new album, American Band. I like these guys a lot. And I'd heard one song in an interview with Patton Hood and kind of was like, okay, I need to get this album. Really good. It's going to be controversial, but I dig them and I like what they're doing. Nutrijet, they were part of that 90s high-energy rock and roll scene that I was into. This also has an EP that's got a bunch of covers of bands like The Saints. And I'm trying to remember who else is on. Oh, a bunch of punk rock. I should just open it up and look at it. There's The Saints, there's Cheap Trick, there's Rich Kids, there's the MC5, Roxy Music, The Creation. So, cool second EP on here with a bunch of tracks. I got this in a place in Ohio called, I believe it's Omega Music. I also picked up a $1 copy of Pretty and Twisted, which is Jeanette Napolitano from Concrete Blonde and Mark Moreland from Wall of Voodoo. I got a copy of the Truly album. These guys were one of those Seattle bands that people forget about. This had the original guitar player from Soundgarden and the original drummer from Screaming Trees in it. There's one great song on here, Blue Flame Ford. Definitely worth checking out if you're into that 90s alternative grunge stuff at all. Okay, Stormy Monday. I like the film Noir. This is a soundtrack to a British neo-noir from the 80s called Stormy Monday. I've not listened to it. A lot of saxophone stuff on here, but it was like in the dollar bin, so I had to get it. This is something I found the other day at Rock of Ages here in Michigan. This was $1. This is Fistful of Rock and Roll Volume 3. This has got Toilet Boys, Stuntmen, ADZ, Rocket 455, just a lot of Jeff Dahl, just a lot of really great 90s, 2000s high-energy rock and roll bands that were riffing on AC/DC, Cheap Trick, the Sex Pistols, the Clash, all of that kind of stuff. If you see these around cheap, pick them up. I swear to you that someday people are going to pick up on this series and say, why wasn't a lot of this stuff huge? The answer to that is Telecom Act in 1996, which you can look up. Another thing I picked up a spare copy of Animal Bag's Offering EP. I got this for $1. I had not seen this around anywhere, except for the copy I own, which I bought when it came out. Animal Bag were another 90s alternative band that people don't know about. If you've ever seen the show My So-Called Life, they are in the first episode. They are one of the 2 bands that was ever on Stardog Records, which was a label made for the band Mother Love Bone. I'm a big fan of this. This is them acoustic in their living room. They put out 2 albums, and there was a third one slated to come out that never was released. If you see either of them and you like 90s alternative hard rock with a southern edge, highly recommend picking them up. And that cover art is amazing to me. Okay, so last thing. This isn't something that I bought. This is something I've had for a long time. I took it on the ride to Nashville, and I played it for my buddy Big Tony, and he was just blown away by this. And it's not because it's amazing. It's a good record. But he was blown away by the fact that Geffen Records put this out in the early 90s after Nirvana hit. This is the album by Phantom Blue, Built to Perform. This is 80s style hard rock quasi hair metal by an all-female band, and look, it's got the coupe artwork. It's pretty good. It's maybe a little long. The songs are solid on here. This is a band that is kind of lost in the ether of the changing times, but who knows why they got put out, why this album got released, and their contract just didn't get bought out. If you see this around, you might check it out. Once again, their stuff's on YouTube. So that's it for this time. Tell me what you thought. Like, subscribe if that's your gig. If not, I will catch you later. Everyone take care.